Hey everyone, in this episode, we are going to deploy our API that was always deployed to ECS to suddenly deployed to Elastic Beanstalk. And that API is going to have an entity framework migration on deployment when the server starts, and it should connect to a Postgres database. These are the checklists that we're going to implement step by step. And in the end of this video, we should have a successful deployment of our Elastic Beanstalk or our API to Elastic Beanstalk that is going to automatically do the entity framework migration and update our database in our RDS database, right? And we'll try to check the database if the tables were created, and let's see if yeah, because we don't want to deploy, or maybe we can deploy our ECS. Maybe we can start, or no, we'll just deploy our ECS later, but we'll just try to check if the Postgres database was created, and if the migration was successfully um, how do you call that, executed. All right, so let's start. Um, this is our API code. We are going to zip this into a folder, zip recursive. The name of the zip file is fd API release, and then the location is this current directory. So let's do that. No, I think that this not or no, not this one. So let's rf that if the API release zip, right? Okay, no more, right? Okay, so let's first publish, and then it will be a release. Output is fd API release. Okay, so it's gonna build build that. So it will be now here. Where is it? Okay, so this one here, fd API release. So let's go there. Let's check if it has a runtime config that JSON. It has. So now let us zip this um, into a zip file, fd API release zip, and then this is the current directory. So it now has that. It's already zipped, and we are then going to create our application. So let's do this. If the API 2, yeah, 2, because we've tried to deploy this before, but we cannot connect to our RDS from our local admin, and I think, yeah, it's not, I think it's because our RDS is not uh, configured to be publicly accessible, and now we'll just access it um, from the EC2 of our beanstalk of the the EC2 that our Elastic Beanstalk has created. So hopefully we'll be able to do that. Okay, so next is, yeah, we'll add a to do here, because okay, so our goal is Elastic Beanstalk deployment. Okay, so first is .NET publish C release O if the API release, then zip R if the API release zip.zip and directory. And then 3 is create an application in EB. 4 create an environment, then deploy, and then change the environment variables in the EB in the newly created EB environment to and configure it to configure the connection string of the newly created RDS. 6 is deploy. 7 is check if we can connect to the RDS using the EB EC2 instance that was newly created. All right, so this is our goal. We're going to create the application now. So this is our environment name. This will be the domain. All right, and then yeah, this is the application name. Oops. This application name, one manage platform is this one. By the way, you need to give access to your user the Elastic Beanstalk full access for this one. No, I created an Elastic Beanstalk full access, and then let's go. Where is it? Let's go to home, repos, cloud as one. Filipino doctors, then API, release, and then this is the one that we're gonna release, v1. Okay, and then single instance. Right, service rule is this service rule key pair. We've already created this before, and this one has access to RDS. Then this is the VPC. Assign a public IP address to the Amazon EC2 instance in your environment. Okay, and then we're gonna assign the availability. This one here is the enable database. These are the subnet for the database. What is this? VPC, networking VPC. Okay. No snapshot, Postgres. We are going to select the class T3 micro T3 micro, right? So username is the same, should be the same username as this one here for our RDS that is not created via Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, and next. Monitoring. What's this? Deactivate. And what's this? Alright, so select that. On demand. Yeah. And then, yeah, let's add here our steps. Our steps. 7 here. Save the configuration, and then this is the 8th one. This should be just be a basic. Don't activate it. Send it to the email. All right. Okay, I think that's all good. Environment variable. We are gonna set the environment variables, so we're going to use the one that we had in our ECS environment variable. So here, this one first, set it to false for now, so we're gonna update that later. And the connection string, this one, we are also going to replace this later. Okay, and then next. Alright, so let's submit this, and it will create all the resources that we need. It will create the RDS, the most important one, and this experiment. Alright, so let's go and logs, health, launching an environment. Okay, I know. So while we're waiting for it to complete, let's go and read some documentation or maybe some article about Elastic Beanstalk. Elastic Beanstalk deployment. Tell me about Elastic Beanstalk deployment. Okay, so AWS Elastic Beanstalk is a platform as a service offering that simplifies the deployment and scaling of web applications and services developed with languages such as Java, .NET, PHP, Node.js, Python, Ruby, Go, and Docker on servers like Apache, Nginx, Passenger, and IAS. And it abstracts away the complexity of managing the underlying infrastructure, allowing developers to focus on writing code. When deploying applications with Elastic Beanstalk, you can choose from several deployment policies depending on your requirements for speed, availability, and risk tolerance. All at once. So this is, I think this is only for free tier because this is the only option that we have. This is the quickest method, suitable if you can tolerate a brief downtime. Elastic Beanstalk deploys the new version to each instance, potentially causing a short service disruption. Rolling this method avoids downtime and minimizes reduced availability at the cost of a longer deployment time. Because this is longer because if you have 5 instances that are running, and there will be batch of 2 instances per update, then it's gonna wait for it to complete those 2 updates on the 2 instances, and after that it will move on to the next 2 instances that needs to update. And yeah, it will take longer. So it deploys the applications to instances in batches. So here, batches maintaining most bandwidth throughout the deployment. Okay, so ruling with additional batch, similar to ruling, but includes an extra batch of instances to ensure bandwidth is maintained. So this one here, batch bandwidth is maintained throughout the deployment, but here maintaining most bandwidth. So this is most bandwidth, so not all the bandwidth, but this one here maintaining throughout the deployment. Okay, it results in an even longer deployment time. Yeah, because there are already this have an additional batch. And after the batch, after the deployment is complete, it will remove the additional instances that were added for the deployment. Okay. So immutable, this method deploys the new version to new instances instead of updating existing ones, providing a safer rollback option if the deployment fails. It involves launching a second auto-scaling group to serve the new version alongside the old one until the new instance pass health checks. I'm not sure what is I think this is paid. We'll research what is the disadvantage of using immutable. Okay, so traffic splitting, also known as canary testing. This method routes a portion of incoming traffic to the new version to test its health before switching all traffic over. It helps identify issues early in the development process. Okay, so let's open up a new tab. Each deployment policy has implications for the impact of failed deployments. Deployment time, zero downtime, no DNS changes, rollback processes where the code is deployed to. In addition to deployment policies, Elastic Beanstalk allows you to customize your deployments further through configuration files. This can be specified in EB extensions directory in your application source bundle. Here you can here are some examples of how to configure these options. So option, this is Elastic Beanstalk rolling updates config, option settings, Elastic Beanstalk rolling the percentage. Okay, so additional batch. All right, so yeah, we can do that here. Immutable, ignore health, and traffic splitting. This configuration files allow you to fine-tune the behavior of your deployments according to your specific needs. Okay, so let's ask, what is the down? What are the cons of immutable deployment versus um, rolling? No, we all know that the rolling takes longer. So versus canary testing. So immutable deployment and canary testings are two different strategies used for deploying new versions of an application. They each come with their own advantages and disadvantages, which can influence the choice of deployment strategy depending on the specific needs of an application. Cons of immutable deployment: resource intensive. Immutable deployment requires creating a new set of servers for every new version of the application. This can be resource intensive, particularly if the application has a large number of instances. Time consuming, since new instances must be provisioned and configured. The deployment process can take longer compared to other methods like rolling updates. Complex configuration management. Managing configurations across multiple environments can become complex, especially if there are dependencies on certain configurations that must change from the old versions to the new. Cons of canary testing. While canary release allows for testing the new version with a subset of users, the feedback might be limited since not all users are exposed to the new version. Yep. Requires monitoring and analysis. With canary deployments, it's essential to monitor and analyze the performance and error rates to determine whether you proceed with a full rollout or roll back. This adds operational overhead. Increased complexity. Implementing canary testing requires careful orchestration of traffic distribution and monitoring systems. This complexity can increase likelihood. Why you did not include the blue green deployment for Elastic Beanstalk? Okay, blue-green deployment is indeed a valid deployment strategy for AWS Elastic Beanstalk, and it was omitted from the initial explanation because it was not specifically asked about. Huh? Blue-green deployment is a method that reduces downtime and risk. Reduces downtime. So there's still a downtime and risk by running two identical production environments called blue and green. At any time, only one of the environments is live, with the live environment serving all production traffic. To perform a blue-green deployment with Elastic Beanstalk, you follow these general steps. Clone your current environment or launch a new environment with a desired platform version. Deploy the new version of the application to the cloned or new environment. So we'll have to create another environment. And then once the new environment is up and running, you can swap the environment URLs using the Elastic Beanstalk console to redirect traffic from the old blue environment to the new environment. After verifying that the new environment is stable and handling traffic correctly, you can decommission the old environment. So we haven't tried this yet. It's fun to try this. This strategy allows for near instantaneous switching between versions and enables easy rollbacks if issues arise with the new version. It requires careful planning and coordination, particularly if your application relies on persistent data that must be shared between environments. Okay, so this one here still we've already read, so we'll take a note of this one if this is the same. If this is the same instance ID that it created yesterday. Okay. Oh no, it's not the same. Okay, so every time you create an Elastic Beanstalk, it will create a different instance ID. So okay, so we'll still follow this. We have created this. Yes, yes, yes. Uh, or maybe put it here. Yes, check. Yes, yes. This one here is yes. Create an environment. Yes. So we'll wait for it to complete so that we can change the environment variables. Okay, so it has successfully deployed, and we're going to now change the environment variables by going to the configuration, and then go to the last part. So in updates, monitoring, and logging. Okay, so let's edit this. And then for this one, we will change that to this. So from this one, we're going to copy this. Oh, why is this small? Yeah, it should have this. Yeah, oh, it should have this. Should have this one. Oops, sorry. This one here. I think this one here is specific to our account. This one, and then let's change the connection string. Let's put this one here now. There you go. And then let's paste that here. Okay, and then the migration now is true, and then apply, and it will update, do another update to our environment. Is it? It should update, right? Nope. Okay, so let's now go to applications. But first, let's open a new tab and let's check if we have EC2 that were created or not yet, because we haven't deployed it yet. Do we have EC2 instances now? Yeah, we have EC2 instance now. Okay, it's now running, and yeah, so let's deploy this. So if we go to applications, this one, yeah, we need to deploy. So go to application versions, select that, and then deploy. So the deployment to our environment has started. So let's continue our reading here. Yeah, we want to research on blue and green deployment once we have time. Blue and green. Does ECS also support blue green deployment? Yes, ECS supports blue-green deployment strategies. Blue-green deployments are a type of immutable deployment used to deploy software updates with less risk by creating two separate environments, blue and green. The blue environment represents the current version. Yeah, blah blah blah. Um, hold on here. Service, blue green. Perform the deployment. Use AWS code deploy to create a deployment. During the deployment, code deploy will create a green task. Yeah, so that is possible. So what next is we're going to ask what what are what are the deployment modes of ECS? Do they have the same deployments? Okay, ECS offers two primary deployment modes for service: replica scheduling. This is the default mode, where ECS maintains a specified number of simultaneously running tasks for a service. When the task fails or stops, ECS starts another instance of the task to replicate it. This ensures that the desired number of tasks are always running unless manually scaled down. Daemon scheduling. This is in this mode, ECS attempts to place and maintain a task on every node that meets the task definition constraints. This is useful for deploying logging agents or monitoring tools that needs to collect data from every instance in the cluster. Daemon scheduling is particularly useful for system level operations that requires that require running a task on every node in the cluster. This deployment node modes are set when blah blah blah. How about ruling and how about ruling and ruling with additional batch? Does ECS also support it? ECS or Amazon ECS does not support ruling updates, which is a deployment strategy where the service gradually replaces the running version of the container with the latest version. This is done by adjusting the minimum and maximum number of healthy tasks allowed during service deployments. When you update your service task definition with the latest version of your container image, ECS automatically begins replacing the old version of the container with the latest version. Okay, let's see if this has succeeded. Environment events. Okay, so now that is green already, and should we do another deployment? Deploy, because we updated the oh, hold on. Yeah, we already deployed, right? Deployment, yeah, already started. Sorry. Yeah, I keep on reading. We have to deploy. So we have created the environment. Okay. So this is now yes, and then we're going to deploy. Next is we're going to save the configuration. How do we save the configuration here? Save configuration. All right, so save configuration. If the API to ev config, save that, so that we'll just load it when we need it. Download. How can we download this? Saved configuration. Load. Supposed to be able to download, right? Okay, so let's go to our friend here. How to download the saved EB plastic beanstalk configuration to our local machine. Okay, to download the save Elastic Beanstalk configuration, I use the Elastic Beanstalk command. Okay, so install the CLI. Okay, and then okay, display. What's that? Run the following command, replacing name with the name of the saved configuration. Get name. This command downloads the specified save configuration from yeah, okay, so this one here will download, but we haven't configured our AWS CLI here yet, so just keep that in mind. You have that saved already, and now we want to connect to our what's that? Oh, I saw some error. No, I think it's all good. AWS compute optimizer finding. No, I didn't see. Oh, okay, so you cannot optimize. Okay, so connect instance, connect using AWS instance connect endpoint. EC2 instance connect. Which one here is though? Like we don't need the. I think this one. This is the browser base, so this one is okay. And then we are going to connect to our Postgres. Access denied. Either your AWS credentials are not valid or do not have access to EC2 instances. Uh-oh. Okay, so we're going to give our user access to EC2 instances. So let's go to the groups. This one here, permissions, EC2 full access. Yep, it has access to EC2. EC2 it has. So maybe the rule, so the JXEB rule. See if it has access to EC2. It doesn't have access to EC2. EC2 full access. So it's not the user, it's the rule. I don't know. Okay, so let's connect again. Yep. Okay, so we'll try to add a policy directly to our user, an inline policy, and this is for EC2 service and what's that instance? EC2 instance connect. Instance connect. Okay, so it's a separate one compared to EC2. It's a different one. So instance connect is different to EC2 full access. Okay, so EC2 instance connect. Okay. Right, so create the policy. It's now added. We should be able to connect now. Okay. So we're now here and yeah, we have the configuration saved. Now we want to check if we can connect. We can check the RDS. Okay, so to do that, we will want to do we have it here? No. How to connect? Oh, how to install Postgres CLI to connect to my RDS using in AWS EC2 Elastic Beanstalk. Okay, we're using Amazon Linux 2023. Configure. Okay, so now we don't want to configure. We want to just execute it here. Okay. How to install Postgres CLI in Amazon Linux 2020 2023. Alright, so okay, so let's do this. Should be able to execute that. Okay, what's that? Available, blah blah blah. Okay, next is we'll do this quick because we're running out of time. We're gonna send our lad to school. Okay, so it's gonna install that. Then okay, sudo password. Yeah, how to connect? To connect to you need to have the following DNS. Okay, so this one here. Okay, we're gonna paste it here. Then the host. So this is the endpoint. So we go to our RDS. So it's to RDS. Okay, hurry up because we're gonna send Vlad to school. Right, so this is the endpoint. So that is what we're gonna put here. Then the port is 5432. Then username is username is this one here. We're gonna put the username here and the password. This one would be okay. Where's the password? DB name. DB name is yeah. What is the DB name? Yeah, where's our connection string? Is it here? Okay, so the database name is this one. Okay, so let's try this. Go to Instance Connect, paste that. Password is yeah, our password is this one. All right. Okay. No such file or directory. What? Could not open file. No such file or directory. Select all. So in Postgres, how to show the tables, the database tables. Should we select all database? Yeah, well, I'll just use AI. We don't want to use our brain now. Here's name. What? And post using Postgres CLI how to show all the tables in my database. Slash DT. Oh, see, we have migration and we have patient. So it's really working. So that's it. And yeah, our Elastic Beanstalk deployment and automatic migration and entity framework worked. And yeah, let's see here if we can go to the environment. So this is the domain. If we put slash swagger, okay, so this is the API. We cannot access it from here because it has authorized and we have not launched our our front end Angular app to get the token to Cognito user pool. All right, so yeah, that's it. How many minutes did it take? It took 45 minutes of our time. But yeah, that's it. Thanks. Bye bye. Do 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 do.